General overview of the side of my truck. The general overview of the side of my truck, I don't see any holes or any kind of damage to the side that would indicate that there's some kind of leak can get inside the truck. The glass on the top is properly managed secured. There's no holes in that glass. There's no obstructions to that glass. Same thing here with my window. It's properly managed secured to the door. I don't see any type of illegal stickers or anything that obstruct my view. My mirror is properly managed secured to my door. I don't see any illegal stickers on any part of my convex or my flat mirror, and there's no crack, damaged, or broken on my glass or my mirrors. My door itself, it opens and closes properly. When I open my door, I have my weather stripping. So my weather stripping on both sides is properly managed secured. I don't see any that's missing that would indicate that there can be a leak in the truck. You have your 3 points of contact. You have your 2 hand holds, and you have your footstep, and the footstep holds my weight. Right here, you have your fire extinguisher. It's a 10 BC. It's properly managed secured, and it's properly rated. It's already been inspected. Under here, I have my battery box. My battery box is properly managed secured, and I don't see any way that you can get to that battery box right now. So I have my DEF cap. My DEF cap is properly managed secured and it's properly sealed. To take the DEF cap off, you can check it, put it on, make sure it stays tight. Okay, I have my DOT box. My DOT box is of the proper size. It has all my DOT information on it. When I open it, I should have my 3 reflector triangles right here. So here's my 3 reflector triangles. I just showed you the fire extinguisher on the inside in the glove compartment. You'll see my spare electrical fuses. You have your fairing. Your fairing is properly managed secured to the edge of the truck. It's not crack damaged or broken. Same thing when you come back here, you have your gas tank. Properly managed secured. You have your gas tank. You have your bolts on your gas tank. None of those bolts are loose, damaged, or broken. I don't see any leaks or dents in my gas tank itself that can cause any type of problem. I have my gas cap. It's actually locked. I can unlock it for you if you want to see it. But my gas tap is properly sealed, and there's no leaks coming out of the gas cap itself. On the back of my truck, or some people call it the back end header board. On the back of my truck, I have my DOT tape. My DOT tape is of the proper color, and it's of the proper specifications that DOT requires. Come down, I have my airline hanger. My airline hanger is properly managed secured, and my wires are not touching the catwalk. I have my cargo lights. My cargo lights are properly managed secured. They are white, which is the proper color, and they're not cracked, damaged, or broken. Okay, I have my hand hold in order to get on my catwalk. So my hand hold is properly managed secured to the back of my truck. My step plate for my catwalk is properly managed secured, and so is my catwalk itself. It's properly managed secured. I have my dummy coupler. My dummy coupler is properly managed secured to the back of my truck. If my airlines were not connected to my trailer, I will connect my airlines here so that there's no oil, water, or dirt can get inside my airlines when it's not connected to the trailer itself. So now, I have my exhaust system here. Here go my exhaust system. I don't see any black soot coming out of the exhaust system that would indicate that there's a leak in the exhaust system. Right here, you have your U-joints. Your U-joints are properly managed secured to the drive shaft itself, the full drive shaft. The drive shaft is properly managed secured. The U-joints are properly greased, and they're holding in place. Now, okay, you have your airline housing. So your airline housing right here, there's no air leaks coming out of any of the housing parts of the air system. So if there was, you would have that would be a problem with your system, but there's no leaks coming out of any part of the airline system. Right here, I have my service line, which is the blue line. This is my service line. It's properly mounted secured from my truck. to my trailer, to my glad hands, and then there's the hole for my glad hands, and I can just put it back on and match those lines up. This is my electrical line. My electrical line is properly mounted secured, and there's no abrasions, bulges, or cracks on any of the wires. That would indicate that it's not working. Okay, then I have my emergency line. My emergency line is properly mounted secured. You got your holes, so none of my rubber seals on the inside of my airlines are cracked, damaged, or broken. Can you see this?
Control arm mount.
Okay. I'm just saying, can you see it?
Oh yeah. Okay.
So you have your control arm mount. Your control arm mount is properly mounted secured to the frame. The frame is properly mounted secured. It's holding the rest of the truck, and it's not cracked, damaged, or broken on any parts of the frame. There's no illegal welds on the frame itself. The bolts are all properly mounted secured, and there's no loose bolts on this truck, and I don't see any shiny metal that would indicate that any of the bolts were loose. I have my torsion bar. My torsion bar is properly mounted secured, and it's not cracked, damaged, or broken. All right. I have my splash guard. My splash guard is properly mounted secured to the frame of the truck, and they're of the proper level, and they're not cracked, damaged, or broken. Okay. So here, I have my other control arm is here with my springs. My springs are properly mounted secured right here, and then I have my spring holders. So my spring holders are properly mounted secured. I don't see any loose bolts or any kind of shiny metal or rusted metal on here that would indicate that they were loose. I have my airbags. My airbag right here is properly mounted secured. I don't hear any hissing coming out of the airbags, which will indicate that it's loose. Or any cracked, damaged, or broken parts off in the airbag, and there's no bulges, abrasions, or cracks. I have my brake chamber. So my drive axle's brake chamber is right here. My brake chamber, I don't hear any hissing coming out of the brake chamber itself, or any type of hissing coming out of any of the hose, which would indicate that there's an abrasions, bulges, or cracks off into the airlines themselves. Okay. Under here, I have my apron. Can you see? So I have my apron. My apron is properly mounted secured to the bottom of the trailer. It's not cracked, damaged, or broken, and it sits. My skid plate sits on top of the apron. Sits on top of my skid plate. I have my release arm. My release arm is properly mounted secured to my fifth wheel, and it's in the lock position. I have my locking pins. My locking pin right here is properly mounted secured. This is a sliding fifth wheel, so my locking pin right now is in the lock position. I have my airline, my fifth wheel airline. My fifth wheel airline is properly mounted secured, and I don't hear any hissing coming out of my fifth wheel airline. My platform. On my platform is properly mounted secured to the frame itself, and I don't see any missing bolts or any rust around any of the bolts that would indicate that they were loose. Okay. Now, on my tires, they're of the proper inflation on all of my tires. I would check this drive axle just like I would check this drive axle. So I don't see any debris between the tires. My two rims are butted up against each other. My two duals are butted up against each other. I don't see any abrasions, bulges, or cuts on any parts of the tire. On the outside of my tire, actually on the top of my tire, it's of the proper, it has at least 2/32 of an inch tread depth on all of my tires, on all non-steer tires. On my rim itself, I'm looking at it, I don't see any abrasions, bulges, or cuts on any of the valve stems or the tires themselves. But when it comes to the rim, I don't see any type of cracks or cuts on the rim itself. On the lug nuts, they're properly mounted secured. I don't see any rust around any of the lug nuts that would indicate that they're loose, and there's no shiny metal that would indicate that they're loose. My hub seal, I don't see any oil on the bottom of my rim or leaking out of my hub, which would indicate that there's a leak in my hub seal itself. All the bolts on my hub seal and the nuts on my hub seal are properly mounted secure, and they're not loose. So right now I have my mud flap. My mud flap is properly mounted secure. It should be between 8 to 10 inches off the ground, but because the truck is off and there's no air in the airbags, the mud flap is on the ground. But as soon as you crank the truck and fill up the airbags, the mud flap will come off the ground. All right. So right here, you have your differential housing. Your differential housing is properly mounted secure. I don't see any oil or grease leaking out of the differential housing, which could indicate that there's a problem in the differential housing. You have your torsion bar. Your torsion bar is properly mounted secured above your differential housing, and this is the rest of your drive axle right here. So you have your drive axle. I don't see any abrasions, bulges, or cuts off in your drive axle, and there's no big cracks or illegal welds in the drive axle also. I have my shock absorbers. My shock absorbers are properly mounted secured. I don't see any leaks coming out of either one of the shock absorbers, and which would indicate that they're not working. I have my airbag itself. My airbag is properly mounted secured. I don't see any abrasions, bulges, or cuts in either one of my airbags that would indicate that they're not working. My airlines and my wires, I don't see any frayed wires, which would indicate that they're not working. And any part of my airlines, I don't see hear any hissing coming out of the airlines, which would indicate that they're not working. Okay. On the back side of my truck, it's hard to see, but I'm looking at my slack adjuster. My slack adjuster is properly mounted secured behind my brake chamber. I don't see any abrasions, bulges, or cuts on any of the wires that's coming out of the brake chamber, and I don't hear any hissing coming out of the brake chamber, which indicate that there's a leak. Okay, cool. My lights. Okay, I have my park lights, my brake lights, and my emergency four-way flashes on the back of my truck. They're the